Who's in studio back there? Hey, Nico. Hey. Yeah. Right on. Okay, headphones going on. We're going live. Okay, microphones. Alrighty, you're coming back to Talk Recovery Radio. You're listening to us live on 100.5 FM, Vancouver Co-op Radio. Right downtown on the downtown east side. Let's make sure this is off. Oh, this isn't even mine. This is yours.
That's
or
not mine.
Darren's. There we go. We got Brooklyn in the house.
Hi.
Hi, Brooklyn. How are you?
I'm good.
You're good? You're good. You need a microphone there. There we go. Every week we come to you live from the downtown east side, and we just finished talking to Dawn from She Recovers, who organizes recovery events for women across the world. So congratulations, Dawn, on I think you're coming up to 10-year anniversary. You can catch Dawn's interview if you missed it on our Facebook page, on our SoundCloud, on our iTunes. You can catch all that at talkrecoveryradio.com. And thanks to all our Facebook watchers, and thanks to everyone that's viewing us on Facebook Live. We started doing that a little while ago. It's a huge hit. A couple thousand people end up watching the show, but I hope that doesn't make you nervous.
Okay.
So Brooklyn, what are you doing here?
I've been asked to come in and talk about my story. So thanks for getting us here all in one piece.
Yes, we have a bit of a snowstorm, and I got to drive down the highway. We're just going to lift your mic up a little bit. There we go. So, Brooklyn, it's International Women's Day tomorrow.
It is. I just heard that.
Yeah, and it's a big deal. Women do recover. And what were some of the challenges as a young woman coming into recovery?
It was hard when I first showed up. I had a lot of fear around making friends with other women. I didn't know how to do that. I'd never been friends with women, especially in active addiction. So I think that was one of the hardest things. And then second off, like personal, like I had a lot of self-hatred, and my self-esteem and self-confidence was very low. So
Without getting too deep into your story, so our listeners can maybe relate or see if they see their daughter in you. What are some of the reasons you ended up here?
I ended up getting clean ultimately because of my family. They are the ones that got me into treatment in the beginning. But I struggled for a while with a lot of negative feelings towards myself, which eventually resulted in me picking up drugs, and I was using on like a regular basis for like a few years.
How old were you when you really started to get into hey, this is a problem?
I think I was 17. I started using when I was 15, 16, but I really hit a low when I was 17, and then it just kept going down from there.
So you said your family helped you start your recovery journey. So was it, hey, we're kicking you out, or was it tough love? Was it, I'm tricking you? What was it?
Well, I knew that they were trying to get me to treatment. I went and visited the treatment center that I ended up going to. When that day came, though, I tried to back out of it for a few different reasons. And I remember being on the phone with my aunt and her saying, if you don't get in your mom's truck right now, we can't keep doing this. We're not going to be a part of your life no more.
Did they actually say that?
They did. Well, it was a little bit more harsh than that. They were like, we can't do this anymore.
So how did that make you feel? And now in hindsight, how does that make you feel?
I was choked. I
Choked.
was mad. My aunt had never
How dare you?
talked to me like that before.
Yep.
So it was a driving factor, and it's ultimately what saved my life.
So you feel like that's what saved your life?
It was the push. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And each person's story is unique because some people that's happened to, and some people they just, it's so confusing. The tough love till they die, compassion, enabling. It's so blurry.
For sure. And my family didn't. Addiction isn't a huge thing in my family, so they did not know what to do with me.
First treatment attempt?
First treatment attempt, yeah.
So what's different in you compared to other women that, we came out of the car, we're parked right in front of Insight, the consumption site. There's women using drugs on the street. It's very apparent. And I'm sure their parents love them. Maybe, who knows what their stories are. But what's the difference between you? Why aren't you out front of Insight right now?
That's a question that I think about often. Why I got so lucky. I think a huge part of it is because of the people that I met while I was in treatment, the connections that I made, and I did what was asked of me. I followed what was suggested to me, and I continue to do those basic things that Narcotics Anonymous suggests that you do.
So what do you think of this topic then? I don't want to piss you off. So maybe you're never really an addict.
That's a question that I also have in my head every once in a while. And that's something that I think kind of kept me sick for a while before I got clean. Is I'm too young, my story's not that bad, or whatever it was. But I truly believe in I really believe that if I use again, it might not happen right away, it might not happen in the first month, but my life goes downhill so fast.
So you said I did what people asked of me. I know what that means.
Yeah.
I think Darren still knows what that means. I'll double check later over lunch. What does that mean?
In NA, I have been asked to write step work, to help newcomers, to do service, to do the step work, and eventually through that I found a higher power.
Are you religious?
I'm not religious, no.
So what's a higher power mean to you?
Honestly, a higher power is just good energy to me. It also has to do with the people that are around me that see things that I cannot see for myself. And yeah.
I remember when I kind of got forced into a recovery system of care. Basically, I had to stop using drugs or I'd get fired. And I'm not religious. And somebody within a recovery community, my boss, was all well, do you have any type of belief in a higher power or God? And I was just how dare you? I have human rights. You can't talk about that. And then when I realized I wouldn't have any money for dope, man, I was yeah, I'll be praying to that higher power every day, just to keep this job. And it was just, I was weird, and I just did a lot of weird things, and I just really, I lied, I just lied a lot, and I would just be a chameleon and whatever you wanted, because ultimately I wanted that prize. I wanted that paycheck so I can get what I needed to get. And, but then there was this change and this idea that Giuseppe's not the most important person in the world. Did that happen for you?
It did.
Yeah.
It really did, and it's something that has helped me so much, even just in the beginning and now.
Do you feel more important now? There's this weird thing that happens where it's just I was hearing somebody speak last night about integrity and just talking about how when you take an honest look at your life and don't have shame for what's happened. I've done a lot of shameful, shitty things to a lot of people. And but I've made the changes so I don't continue doing that. And it's interesting. It's you get this kind of integrity and the power in that. It's hey, there's power. It's we were powerless. We're not anymore.
Yeah.
What do you think of all that, Tale?
Getting my power back, getting a voice back. I do have an issue with not using my voice in times, but getting that power back, having a choice in my life is one of the greatest gifts that I have been given, and I talk about that all the time. I have a choice where I in every aspect of my life. As soon as I pick up though, that's all gone. So
isn't it amazing? It's
amazing, yeah.
I just wish I could carry that on to people and be no, you don't understand. You actually don't have any power over your life right now. You don't, and you know, there's a, so if you understand where we're at Hastings in Columbia. That's where Co-op Radio is, and lots of drug use. Usually outside of the door here, there's a shooting gallery and so forth. And Darren and I are here every Thursday, and so we're getting to know some of the people and all that. Well, not getting to know. We see them all the time, and some of them are former clients, and some of them are just people that we know, and from the rooms of 12-step fellowships and stuff, and it's interesting, this, I don't know his name, but I've seen him quite a few times, and he's looking sicker. He said hi today, and then I decided to go back outside to kind of see how he's doing, and I just kind of asked him, like, are you okay? Because he looks a lot skinnier today. And he's like, yeah, no, man, I'm good, like, life's good. And I just like, you're not, though, you're not. You got a big hole in your face, and it's bleeding, and it's interesting because we really feel like we've got choice. But
yeah, absolutely.
you and I both know.
Yeah.
Like, I got choice today. I got choice what I'm going to wear. I got choice what I'm going to eat. I got choices today that I can make. And it's quite an interesting conundrum and the irony and all that. So, you celebrated 18 months clean yesterday.
I did.
Yeah, everybody, nice round of applause. What does International Women's Day mean to you now that you're 18 months clean?
Women in general. I work in the treatment center that I got clean at, which is an all-women's treatment center.
At Westminster House?
At Westminster House,
Westminster House and Last Door are the engine behind Talk Recovery Radio. Shout out to Last Door and Westminster House. New West Recovery, yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And women are what saved me. So when I think of International Women's Day, like, I think it's absolutely amazing that there is that day. I was just saying to my partner, though, for me, it feels like International Women's Day every day.
Perfect, and it should. And for me, it's Pride Day every day. Yeah. It's like, what do you mean it's Pride Day? It's Pride Day every year.
Every day. It's amazing, and I didn't know that, so I'm excited for it.
It's good, and you got something to offer. You've got the ability to offer somebody else right now listening to this show is either thinking about picking up, is either picking up, is either beginning their journey, in the middle of their journey, where they're somewhere, and our stories, I mean, it's the only thing that's really saved this planet from anything is our stories and our strength and our experience and mentoring people to live a better life.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things you're going to do now?
I'm going to go back to school, and I'm going to continue to work at the Westminster House. I absolutely love it. I'm going to be moving soon. Like, there's just all these little things that add up to, like, a bigger picture. I feel like every day that I am clean, that I'm, like, living life in recovery, I enjoy what I do. It doesn't matter what it is.
So you got a few minutes, and you're in a relationship, and 18 months clean is you're new in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on, like, when it comes to relationships? Were you great at relationships before recovery?
No, absolutely not. No.
Tragic.
I was in a very codependent relationship the entire time. I was using the 2 years I was using harder substances, and it taught me so much. It taught me a lot, and that's not to say that when I got clean, I made good decisions. I was in another not so healthy relationship, and both of those, like, taught me something.
So how did you get out of that? While you're in recovery, how did you get out of that second?
I called my sponsor all the time. I was talking about it with people, and again, like, I talked about how hard it was to use my voice, and it honestly, it just happened one day where I just had to say that I was done. And it wasn't easy at all, but
That's a big deal, learning how to use your voice. Mm-hmm. So you say it, I learned how to use my voice. I heard you say it twice now. So obviously it must have been a big challenge and opportunity for you to really have that part of your story, which is really important. Learning how to build self-esteem, I guess, is one of the ways you build your voice. How did you do it? I mean, because you went to treatment to stop you. I really want people to pay attention to this part, because this is really important. You went to treatment because of some kind of substance abuse. But you're talking about getting your voice. Mm-hmm. So in the world of Vancouver's, drug policy, all this noise is about the substance.
it is.
we're not talking about the. You haven't even said the substance, which is beautiful, and that's why I love this show, because the substance has nothing to do with it. Like, here's a woman, International Women's Day, 18 years clean. Unfortunately, there's a ton of women that are dying every day from overdoses crisis, and the only thing our health authorities and our drug policy leaders are doing is, how are we going to deal with this one substance? Mm-hmm. How are we going to deal with women like you, young women in this society, to get a voice? Because until we teach our women how to get a voice, we ain't going to solve this overdose crisis, because it has nothing to do with the drugs. Why are they using it in the first place? So that's how big of a deal this is. Like you getting your voice is applaudable. So how did you do it?
It was in treatment. I had an amazing counselor who was on me all the time. I would be asked questions or asked my opinion or asked what I was feeling, and I would just say I didn't know. Whether I didn't know or not, it doesn't matter. I just said it to every question and statement I was asked, and I was put on multiple different exercises to combat that, and it's a struggle. It is very hard for me to do, and it doesn't always happen in my day-to-day life, but I have the ability to voice my opinions. I have opinions, I have feelings, and I think it just took repetitive people telling me that I was doing it and asking me my opinions on things until I felt comfortable and felt confident enough to speak those opinions or feelings, whatever they were.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. I really hope Dr. Daly was watching this, or Dr. Tyndall from wherever the heck he is, and it's just I'm tired of you guys talking about the fentanyl crisis. We need to talk about why people are doing drugs, why people are suffering from addiction, and how can we prevent this, and how can we help people get their voices back and get their lives back, get their citizenship back. You're participating in International Women's Day. You're not just on the sidelines hashtagging that shit. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. Yeah. I just get super pumped when I see young women finding recovery, because Susan, the ED over at Westminster, she's a very dear friend of mine, and women have challenges that men don't. There's always that money on the side that can be made, and everyone's talking about the downtown east side sex worker, trying to find recovery, and it's they're not going to work for $10 an hour, making Starbucks coffees. They're not going to go to school, to kind of get an education where they're making $1,000 a week, cash. There's a lot of other issues going on, and it's really sad that we don't talk about the truths of what's really going on in this society and why women are using drugs and killing them. Yeah. So thank you for being on the show. It's very courageous, and 18 months clean is a big deal. It's a big deal. Getting your voice back, it's a big deal. Being in a wonderful relationship with our buddy Nico over here, hey Nico, it's a big deal. Hi Nico.
Hi.
You got a good one there, Nico. Hey. Is that even okay to say? I don't know. All right. So we are running out of time. It's time to get into our closing of the show. Darren's going to take over the mics and close us down. Thank you very much for being on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I love this show.
Hey?
I just love it. I mean, often I know the person that's coming in to share their personal story, and I don't know, sometimes you take it for granted, you know them, you know what they've gone through, but every time I hear somebody's story for the first time, and I'm being allowed to hear some of the vulnerabilities and authenticness of that person, it inspires me, and I've been around for a while now, so I mean, we got to remember just what that might be doing for somebody that we don't know, we don't see, we'll never know, but is listening. So thank you again for coming to Brooklyn. That was great. First time straight up, amazing. It works. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Thanks to our first guest, Don Nickel, and we'll see you all again next week. Let's close it off with a little Radiohead. This is Karma Police.
Right on. See you later. We're good. See you later, Darren. Nico. Hey!